Hello Internet and welcome back to our Magiclysm playthrough. We are playing as a Druid, which is not super relevant. We're going to be reading What's a Transistor. We're going to try to skill up in this episode. We're just going to make some conversation to break up the monotony of clearing the lab some more. So we're going to read What's a Transistor. Looks good. We do want to boost our electronics. Basically what I'm looking at is fab, electronics, and mechanics. These are going to give us access to things like the vehicle recharging station, the ability to add solar panels and storage batteries to this vehicle, make a crane, things like that. I think we're going to go folding crane this time around just because it's a little easier because we don't have a singular base currently. We're just kind of going wherever we feel like it. And our car is just in terrible condition. I mean, look at these solar panels. They're not good. We cannot manufacture solar panels, I don't think. We can make a reinforced panel, but it requires a functional solar panel. We can, however, disassemble that storage battery and then craft smaller storage batteries that would not be leaky and would be fully functional. But that's, again, not something that's super immediate pressing of an issue because we're getting such a small amount of charge from these damaged solar panels. And once we're done with this lab, we're going to head out probably to this town, and that's when we will start looking for other solar vehicles to harvest, sturdier frames, maybe some armor plating for our vehicle, things like that. For the time being, we're going to read. What's our morale look like? Lit a fire, spent time near a fire. We are wet and hot at the same time. What is hot exactly? Pretty much our legs, okay, which is the turnout trousers. We'll take those off. There's really not a great leg armor that we can work towards at the moment. In fact, if we go to armor and we check out our legs, we still don't have access to the chitin armor stuff, which is where I would be heading if we were looking for armor. If we're looking for armor balanced with not being too warm and stuff like that, there's really nothing here that jumps out at me. In fact, all these are quite bad. We would probably put on leather pants, but I'd imagine that they're just as hot as the turnout trousers. So that's a real bummer. We do have tailoring of 4, but I think most armors are connected to fabrication. And of course, we don't have a forge either because we are playing pretty much nomadic at the moment. So we'll get there eventually. For now, we're just going to read this. I'm not concerned. I did say about morale, but I'm not really... Actually, we didn't address that in any capacity. Let's take off... What else are we wearing on our legs that gives warmth? Do we have like long underwear on or something? Legs. Compression shorts. They give such a small amount of warmth that it... Actually, 20 warmth from compression shorts. And we're not even wearing turnout trousers. Wait a minute. Are we not wearing turnout trousers? Oh, I took them off. I'm so dumb. I don't pay any attention. It probably would be prudent just to take off the compression shorts or our cargo pants. Although cargo pants give us storage. So I think we'll lose the compression shorts. They are protection, but they're only 45% coverage. And we'll throw the trousers back on. So basically, we've effectively removed 20 warmth. Wait a minute. We took off 20. We had 50. We took off 20. Yeah, we've removed 20 warmth from our legs. So we're in a more tolerable position there. Why don't we pop out? We will... Oh, man, we're hungry again. Let's drink some of these perishable beverages before they start going bad. We'll drink the apple cider. Oh, we have multiples of apple cider. We're on the wrong tile as well. And we will take a slug of some vodka. I like vodka. We'll drink some vodka. We are hydrated, and we will go back and we will eat some cracklins because that's our current food source. Oh, man, so many cracklins. It's crazy. It's crazy how many cracklins. I'm wondering if that's like a typo that somebody accidentally added a 0 or if that's intentional. We do want... Yes, what's a transistor? Oh, so I talked about playing Tome. That's really the only thing that's like super eventful happening for me. Trying to get more on the channel, trying to do more with the channel. I've been finding that I have free time since I shifted my editing to a different type of editing. I'm mostly just... I've been recording a lot, and I still have free time. Like, I churned out the entire season 5 of Dexter in, 2 days, right? I have that kind of free time. And it's like, I feel like I should be devoting that time and energy to the channel, and doing things that could be beneficial. Or at the very least, if I'm not going to do stuff for the channel, I would like to be contributing more to Cataclysm. I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Over the weekend, so I started this mod like a year ago, and I did a bunch of work for it. I created a bunch of monsters, special items, special monster attacks, items that do special things in the game, and then I just abandoned it because one day I loaded it up and they had changed the use action, which you probably don't know what that means, but use actions changed slightly, and it broke one of the torch items in my game, and I was like, oh man, this is going to be a huge headache. I don't feel like dealing with it. And so I haven't done anything with it in like a year. And over the weekend I thought, well, I'm not doing anything, I could be learning C++ right now, but I'd rather just maybe do something I already know how to do, some JSON work in Cataclysm. And I took a look at the mod, and it was the easiest thing in the world to fix. It was very easy to fix. I don't know why I was so afraid to try and fix it. It was very easy, and I started working on that mod again. So hopefully I continue, although that's a very large project, so even if I do continue, it probably won't be done for a long time. But yeah, it was nice to actually work on a project again. I haven't been doing anything. I also wrote a little over the weekend, which is something I've been not doing a lot of lately. Even though I want to, I've been just, I keep saying like, okay, we'll just edit some videos, then we'll write. And then I edit some videos and I'm like, man, that was a lot of work. I just want to sit around and watch a YouTube video or something. So then I do that and I never get around to actually writing anything. So it was nice to sit down. I didn't write very much, but, being creative is so important to me, just like with the mods, right? The odds are good. I'm never going to finish this particular mod for Cataclysm, but coming up with the items, the ideas behind it, the monsters, giving them some creative backstory, that kind of stuff, it satisfies me in a way that nothing else really does. It's the same way when I write. It's like odds are good that any given novel that I write is probably never going to be published. I could put it up on Amazon, but I have a lot of self-esteem issues and probably no one will ever read it. But it's deeply satisfying to me to be able to take something that did not exist in any capacity and turn it into something that is purely from my mind, that I created myself. I don't know how to explain it to you. If you're a creative type person, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you're not, you probably have no idea what I mean. Like some of you that listen, I know you're like coders. Some of you that listen, I'm sure, are artists. There's just something innately satisfying about taking nothing and turning it into something. We definitely need to be drinking this almond milk. I can't believe I've been leaving that to sit. It's so many calories. It also gives us quench. So we definitely need to be consuming all this almond milk. Plus almond milk is delicious. So do we want to take our electronics to 5? We did invest about 50% into this book already. Let's look at our message log. How far did we get in the book? 69%. Teehee. Yeah, so we're going to continue reading this at least until we gain another level. Yeah, modding. And that's the other reason I went back to modding, is because the Magiclysm stuff added a lot of... so when I created the mod originally, I had a bunch of monsters that dealt special attacks and displayed special messages when they would attack you. And it was kind of hard to finagle, these monster attacks. They were kind of limited in how much you could do with JSON. But now that Korg did all this stuff for Magiclysm, you can create spells and then just have the monster cast the spell, and it just prints a message. It doesn't have to be connected to magic in any way. It just looks like an attack that does a certain thing. And it's just so much more functionality. So serious shout out to how much more open monster effects and things like that are now. I really appreciate that. That's a really cool thing to add, and I'm really excited to work with that. And of course that's expanding every day. I think currently he's working on attaching bonuses to items in the game. So kind of like the artifact system that we already have, but probably more oriented towards fantasy. I think is what he's working on. I don't even know if that's accurate or not. You know, you get little pieces here and there from conversations on Discord, but it seems like really cool stuff that he's doing. So very excited. That's the fire siren, so I'm going to go ahead and take a break until that runs its course. Okay, so I was taking a look here through some of our books to see what we would be reading next. Nothing really jumps out at me. I kind of would like to continue trying to train a martial style because I never use styles in the game. Alternatively, we could read the necromancy book just because I have not read the necromancy book. There's the sirens. Every time I think the sirens are done, they continue and they show up again. Yeah, we could read the necromancy book just because it's fun to have necromancy pets, but it would lock us into the necromancy class, which I'm not super interested in. You know, I kind of wanted to see what Animist is all about. I should look in the files just to see what those spells available are. Where are they going? They went one way and now it sounds like they're coming back. It's one of the big negatives of living down the street from the firehouse. We could raise computers as well, just unfortunately it would only take us to 1. I don't think we have the book to bridge the gap between like 1 and 3, I think is where the next book we have picks up. Not a lot of this is really jumping out at me. I think we will try. This is the Wing Chun, which I think it specifically mentions pole weapons in it, so I assume it can be used with pole weapons. I don't even know if it's worth having. I would rather stick with what I know, I think. So we will just go. I guess we'll read the computers book. This takes the computers to 2, but Computer World takes it to 1. I guess it's like a magazine. Whatever, we'll read. But why do we need computers, though? Is it even worth reading? We could invest this time in other things. Let's raise our fab. Let's focus on fab. Our fab is 2. What can we craft to raise our fab? P:/fab. I would rather not use a bunch of wood if possible because we're kind of limited on the amount of wood we have. We also don't have rocks, but a cairn... okay, I remember saying this as cairn, and then it was wrong. Is it a quern? I think. I Googled it. I don't remember. Quern. It would be nice to have long-term because it would let us make flour, but it's not like something we would necessarily need to grind our fab. Okay, so everything from here up, we have the materials for... Let's look at what we don't have materials for. Oh, a ton of stuff. Yeah, we can't reload things. We don't have... Oh, you can reload with a chemistry set? What happened to a hand press and die set? Don't you need... In order to take apart bullets, we need the puller, I think, in order to get most of these materials. So it's not useful. Hand press and die set is for assembling, and then the bullet puller is what is used to pull bullets apart, I believe, into their components. So that's not really something we want to be doing. This just... no, solder. We can't abide using solder or solder. Okay, so we could just use scrap metal, but it requires a forge. Yeah, not having a forge is going to hurt us with a lot of this stuff. I think the way I raised fab most in the last game was probably doing forging. Once you get past like level 2 or 3, we'll just go up. We have materials for these things. We could... No, it's level 1. We don't want that. So from here up is makeshift crossbow, just wood. No long strings. We don't want to do that. Super glue or thread. I mean, we can get thread, and we do have a lot of sinew, but it requires bones. I don't really want to spend bones on something I'm not going to use. Quarterstaff. We did want to make a quarterstaff just because it was a good weapon, and I wanted to see if it functions as an item we can hold and still cast spells. Someone told me that all the classes have their own weapon that you can craft, which I assume would be maybe in the enchanted section, which we have no recipes for. That each class has a weapon they can craft that they can wield and still cast spells while using. I think the word focus was used. Okay, so not really available to us. So, okay, a lot of staring at menus, not a lot of doing anything. So let's fix that. We can make a lot. No, requires leather patches. We don't want to spend leather patches. Die staff and spindle is just planks. is just planks. So we would make those. But we're going to need a lot more wood. So let's wield. We are wielding the crowbar. So let's gather wood, which again with this stupid generator is going to be a little bit of a problem. But we'll make do. Honestly, the shocks are just obnoxious. Like, it's not like we need to worry that we're going to die from the shocks or anything. It's just that it hits every body part at the same time, which is really stupid. And it deals, you know, through walls and things, which is very aggravating for someone who is, you know, used to, you know, the game being vaguely realistic. It just, you know, wants to kick you in the teeth every now and then with nonsense. Because as far as I'm aware, electricity doesn't go through concrete walls. Check out how much wood we gathered from that. No, don't take it down. 33 planks is not a lot. Let's work on this level because I'm sick of going downstairs already. My dog is crying because my family is home. He's a big old crybaby. Go ahead and gather these things up. See if that got us any more planks. Man, that's slow because of the rags and stuff. Okay, fair bit of wood. Looks like 63 planks. Okay, I feel comfortable at this point crafting. We do want a table. There are no tables. Table. Table. Build table. Wood sawing of 1 to make a table, even though we have planks, which are already cut pieces of wood. Also requires a wood sheet, which we don't have, or a wood panel, which we don't have. Pretty stupid, in my opinion. I don't know why we need wood sawing when we have planks, which are already pre-cut pieces of wood. Because I feel like if you gave me 4 planks and a wooden sheet, I could make a table with just nails and a hammer. So that's a little irritating. Counter, can we make counters? Also requires wood sawing. Yeah, that's stupid. Kind of pisses me off. I do think we have materials with wood sawing, but I think that's a really stupid requirement. Saw. We have hacksaws, which do have a wood sawing ability. Not very good, though. And of course, we could make a stone adze if we really needed to. Let's just craft a table. It's fine. Let's craft a table. There's no flat surface nearby. I'm not sure if tables or counters give better for crafting purposes. I don't know if it makes a difference. We could make a workbench, which is the best thing you can make for this. Is it a construction? I thought it was a item that you deploy. Requires sheet metal. We don't really have. Oh, it is an item you can make, but we don't have one. Okay, table it is. Let's go ahead and activate this. Start ourselves a fire. I'm out of charges. Okay, surely we've picked up something in the lab here. Lighter, great. Activate a lighter. I like the refillable ones just because they're a renewable source. But honestly, fire starting equipment is so common in the game, it's really not a big deal. We don't want this menu, we want to make a table. Oh my god, I wish it would clear our filter, because half the things in the game clear your filter and half do not. That's right, we need a wooden sheet. Of course we do. Of course we do. You can just piss off, generator. I don't want to deal with you. Surely something here will give us a wood sheet or a wood panel or whatever. Where were we getting them before? We found some before. These look to be the exact same thing. Maybe from the table instead of the counters. Maybe the counters don't give them when smashed. Maybe it's just a chance. We'll pick up the wood panel and we'll head back up. So we should be able to make a table now, which is great. We need that. It will help us speed up our craft grinding. Honestly, I don't think it even helps that much, but it is something. So we'll build ourselves a table, which is going to take... Why did the fire go out? Apparently construction does not count as something that refills your fire. Go ahead and drop the splintered wood. Start the fire again. And now we will craft whatever we said we were going to craft. This has been pretty miserable. Die staff and spindle. And we'll just make 10 of them because I don't care. Yep. Also cut my hair over the weekend. It just was getting a little long. Yes, continue. We do have planks, so I don't know why it would need to prompt me when I know we have planks. Our fab is at 80%, and we are tired. I mean, it doesn't really matter what time it is, so I don't think sleeping is necessarily a huge priority. I think we'll polish off our fab here a little bit. Die staff and spindle. We'll make 3, I think, will be enough. There goes that thunder rumbling, and our fab is leveled to 3. Fab 3 is not incredible, but again, we do kind of want to level fab over time. It's nice that we have access. Oh, that's right, the arrows require sort of a ridiculous amount. If I was making a wooden bolt, I kind of imagined it would just be a dowel with some fletching, and but it looks like this is fire hardened and a sharpened tip, so we do need tips for it, which is the main thing that I don't like about crafting arrows is gathering up materials to make their tips and fletching. It's just a little bit too much work for me. I didn't think we had access to these. These must be the really basic ones, because the good arrows and stuff are all in the Fletcher's Friend. Wood smoother, more wood. I would really, really prefer if some of this stuff required not wood. Like, can't we just make stuff out of scrap metal? Scrap metal and strings. We can make scrap helmet. I did see we have some new recipes available, so why don't we check our armor again? So now we do have the ability to make some of the chitin armor, which would be really good. Unfortunately, the actual chitin armor is what is referred to for the torso and leg piece is in a book, I believe. However, the gauntlets and boots are not. Neither of them are particularly... so it's like boots and gloves are not hugely important in the game, because I don't know if you even can get hit in the boots, in the feet, or the hands. And because the hands have such an encumbrance penalty, I generally don't, prioritize hand armor or anything like that. And because we're mutated, we can't wear the boots anyway. Probably could. I mean, we could make the gauntlets. Does it really matter? We do have a lot of chitin, and there's a spider to the south, directly beneath us anyway. I think maybe we'll make them, because what are we wearing on our hands? We're wearing fur hand wraps. Oh, and flame resistant gloves, which are not, I just don't care about. I would rather have actual protection than environmental protection. But again, I don't even know if it's really relevant on your hands. Yeah, I think we will make chitin gauntlets, just because. I mean, we can, and because it's cool to wear chitin, I think. I don't know. Go ahead and throw chitin on our hands. So that's a lot of protection. We should sleep. We'll put a bunch of cracklins in our belly before we go to bed, and then we'll come over here. We will wear our earplugs. I don't know if thunder matters or not. And we will sleep. Our health is probably going down a lot because we've been eating garbage this whole time. Probably should start taking some multivitamins, which I will try to remember to do when we wake up. Yeah, worked on some mod stuff. Watching a lot of Dexter just because I don't know what to watch. I watched an episode of Friends. Don't hate me. I mean, that show is bad. It was like early in the morning, I think. I was trying to watch something light, but I've watched everything I have that's comedy. Like, my go-to is like 30 Rock. I like some Office type stuff, The Office, workplace comedies. But like, I was looking for something light, and I saw Friends, and I was like, oh, it's the pilot episode. Maybe I'll watch that and see. I missed out on Friends when I was in high school. Everybody watched Friends, and like even in middle school, I think that show's pretty old. And I hated it because anything that's popular is terrible, or at least that's how I felt when I was a teenager. And I remember there was this one girl, she would always be like, doesn't he remind you of Chandler? And I thought, well, I'll give it a go. Maybe I'll watch the pilot of Friends. And I watched it. That show was terrible. I don't know how that got like 20 seasons or whatever it did. You feel cruddy, maybe you should consider eating a bit healthier. Yeah, you're not wrong. We're going to go take a multivitamin and maybe a calcium tab while we're here. This is the med pile. Let's grab a multivitamin. Do we have calcium tabs? We don't. That's okay. And let's focus on eating some things that are not... I'm guessing cracklins are unhealthy food. I mean, ultimately, it's literally fat. So I feel like probably unhealthy. None of this is particularly perishable. And none of it's really healthy either. That's been our struggle this entire game, is that we really do not have healthy food. We have no access to healthy food, really. This is not the food pile. I keep going there thinking it's the food pile. Could eat some vegetables. I think we will do that. Potatoes I would rather convert to seed potatoes, although I haven't farmed in a long time and I don't know if we're going to be doing that. Can eat some lettuce. Lettuce has basically no calories, but eating lettuce does provide, if we look at we can look at the vegetables in it. Where's the lettuce? Radiated lettuce. It does provide 16% vitamin A. Really not a lot of vitamins in it, but that's because it's basically just water. I mean, it's lettuce. And I would assume that vegetables are healthy. The problem is, like I've complained about already, most of the health stuff, it seems like people keep putting negatives on food, but they really don't put a lot of positives on food. So let's have a look at our health just to see what it is. Health is -10. Awesome. That's really, really, really good. I'm so glad. Let's eat some lettuce because we can, and try to ignore its mushy texture. Yeah, I don't really care about that. So you're sad now because you ate lettuce. I don't really care about your well-being and your mental health. If I'm being honest, you're here just to do whatever I tell you to do. We should probably... Oh, man, we don't have any healthy food at all. And it's just so much easier to eat meat because it has such high calorie count. Yeah, I don't care, really. I don't care, I guess. Actually, probably ought to call the episode. I think in the next episode we will go back to looting the lab a little bit. We don't need to carry the hacksaw. We'll drop some of this stuff here. Keep the light battery. We don't need the shorts on us. We will swap out our refillable lighter for the regular lighter. We'll drop the hacksaw as well. And then we will mark the lighter as favorited so we don't lose our fire starting source. Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of books, but there's none of them that are readable that I'm super, super interested in. It would be nice to raise our cooking a little bit, but all of these cooking books are extremely high cooking requirements. So we're not really there. Computers, leveling it up, I mean, we need a high computer skill to interact with the lab computers, really. And we don't have that, but we do have a pickaxe. And we're not going to raise it high enough that, like getting computers 1 or 2 is basically pointless, especially when you have a pickaxe. There's really no benefit in raising it. And then the weapon books, we're doing okay. Our primary weapon that we want to focus on is marksmanship, rifles, and then whatever melee we happen to be using, which I think is piercing weapons. And we do have a piercing book somewhere. I don't know where it is exactly, but it's here. And I just don't think it's worth reading that so much. It just doesn't interest me. Close quarter fighting, what do you raise exactly? Just flat melee? I mean, we could raise melee. But yeah, not super interesting. I think we'll go back to looting the lab in the next episode. But for now, that's going to do it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.